Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 480. I can't believe I'm almost to 500. Like, how crazy is that? I'm Phil Graham. It is July 21st, 2026, and today I'm going to be talking about why panic can be so costly and expensive when it comes to your Facebook and Instagram ads. You know, you're human, I'm human. Facebook ads can mess with our emotions. We could have a great day and then a terrible day the next day in terms of the cost per result or the return on ad spend, etc. And when you're spending money, especially your own money, it is normal, natural, and very common for you and others to panic when things aren't going how you want. But the problem is panicking can create a lot of bad decisions, and it can get really, really expensive when you do it. And I've got an example I want to share with you in today's episode. And today I am going to keep the episode short, sweet, full of value, and very actionable like usual. But before we jump in, if you're looking for any help with your ads or with your AI, whether that's one-on-one consulting with you and I, or having somebody like myself run your ads for you, for either one of those things, just go to philgrahamdigital.com. That's the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. We can hop on a short Zoom call. I would love to connect with you. So let's jump right in. We have to get panic out of the mind when it comes to running ads because it can create so many costly decisions. I want to give you a quick example. I've got a client that I'm thinking of right now, and the client was making decisions. It was a consulting client, so I wasn't running their ads for them, but consulting with them. And they were making decisions on what to turn on and what to turn off almost daily. I literally had to pep talk them or be like a mini counselor to them to try and convince them to at least let it run for a couple weeks before you make any decisions, because they were just start, stop, turn it on, turn it off over and over again. One bad day, turn it off. They would panic. And I'm thinking of this one particular campaign. It had one horrible day. And then I was like, just for me, leave it on. Let's let it go for 2 weeks, no matter what. And long story short, after that one bad day, the next day was actually better than any previous day in terms of cost per result. And then it started doing really good after that as well. And it didn't have like a horrible day like that one bad day afterwards. So if they would have turned that off, they would have actually turned off a big time winning ad because it's been doing really good. Now, does that mean that it's guaranteed to do good? Of course not. It could have a horrible day tomorrow, which turns into a horrible week or horrible month, and then we would know to turn it off. The one that I kept on that I'm referring to, I didn't know, I can't see the future, but I knew that I didn't want to turn it off until I knew whether it was good or not either way. And I wasn't going to let one day decide that, because that's insane unless you have about a $50,000 a day budget. And so I would rather know one way or the other than just turn things on and off completely flying blind. And again, it doesn't mean that I'm going to make the right choice every single time. Well, it kind of does, because to me, the right choice is knowing one way or the other. I'd rather know that an ad didn't work than just guess. To me, that's still the right choice, because then I can make smart decisions based off of data, based off of what we learned. But when you turn things off so fast, guess what? You have no clue if it was going to work. You didn't give it hardly any chance. Obviously, keep in mind, I'm not working with you or your account specifically, so there may be exceptions or times where I may do it a little different and where maybe you should too. But for the most part, huge mistake turning things off because of panic, worry of just one day or 2 days. Sometimes even a week is not long enough. It does depend on a lot of factors though. So you got to be careful. The ads manager dashboard that you see can sometimes make people panic when they see, hey, oh my gosh, my cost per result went from $30 to $140 in one day. Oh my gosh. And then you start freaking out. What's it going to be tomorrow and next week? And every dip in a day of performance feels like panic. And then based off of that panic, you're making a decision that isn't strategic, it's emotional. And I understand it. We're all human. I've done that too. But one bad day is hardly ever enough information. And like I said, even a bad week might not be enough information. I've seen situations where somebody was targeting 40 million people, and after reaching 2,000, in like 2 days, they freaked out and turned it off. I was like, you reached 2,000 out of 40 million. Like, you haven't even given it a chance. So you got to be careful with that. And again, I'm not telling you exactly what to do because I'm not in your account. Keep that in mind. There are exceptions, but I think that by far, and it's not even close, I think way more people make bad decisions based off of panic and fear with their ads than they do based off of strategy, skill, and experience. And I think that's very important. The other thing is there is an opposite to this too, is I would call it like panic scaling. So let's say you have an ad doing well and then you panic. Oh my gosh, what if it stops doing well? Let me give it like 20 times the budget. I wouldn't recommend that either. That's not as common of a thing that I see, but I still do see that. So here's my advice to you guys. When you're running an ad, like here's what I do. When I'm running an ad, I have rules, whether you write them down or they're in your head. Regardless, have some rules. I have rules. And it depends on different factors, what the goals are, what the budget is. But one of my rules that I follow a lot is, hey, I'm not going to touch this ad for 2 weeks. I don't care if it has a $500, cost per result one day and a $12 cost per result one day. I'm not going to touch this for a couple weeks. I'm going to let it run. I'm going to get some good data, and then I'm going to make decisions based off of that data. I'm going to follow my rules. So create some rules for you, whatever those might be. And that way, when you do get kind of panicked or freaked out based off of what's going on, you can just go to your rules. If it matches what your rule is, then take action. If it doesn't, then you probably shouldn't. I'm not talking about letting a bad ad run forever. I'm just talking about getting enough data so that you can make a smart decision based off of strategy and skill and experience, not panic and fear, because that can make such a big difference. Does it guarantee success? No, but I think it gives you a much better chance. And so I highly recommend you guys make decisions based off of strategy and experience and not fear and not panic. And as always, just a reminder, it's always important to point out that every business is unique. Results can vary. There's no guaranteed outcomes. So always keep that in mind. So my friends, I hope that was helpful. Episode 480 is in the books. Next week, I'm going to share what I would call like a Facebook ad account cleanup that I would do before I would spend any more money. And a lot of you guys, I think, are going to need this. It's super important. So make sure and check that out. And if you want to get in touch between now and then, philgrahamdigital.com is the website. Otherwise, hope you guys have a phenomenal week, and I will talk to you on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.